Beyond good, beyond evil, beyond your wildest imagination.
Tick, tick, boom.
Bring on the torture. Hello and welcome to episode 32 of ToonCast Beyond, brought to you by the Geekcast Radio Network. I am your host, T.F. Joe and Mike, and joining me this time is Sketch1984. Hello.
Hey.
Today we are going to be talking about Avengers, Earth's Dumbest Heroes.
What? Hurts. I gotta make a claim. What's with this show's title and that Fantastic Four's title being so similar? Was Fantastic Four
World's Greatest Heroes,
and is Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes?
I don't know.
They're getting lazy with the titles.
And I gotta say right off the bat,
but Avengers.
Yeah. I gotta say right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, I refused, when I went back and edited this show, I refused, absolutely outright refused, to put in the lyrical version of the theme song for this fucking cartoon, because the lyrical version is a bad Linkin Park imitation. So the theme song you just heard is actually the outro to the cartoon, which has no lyrics, and it's just instrumental. Because I'm sorry, Fight is Won, the World is About to Break song. Oh, God.
A little too emo for you, huh?
Worst fucking theme song ever.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
In cartoons, worst really theme bad song ever. Yes.
No, not even close.
And it's by a band that can't even come up with an original name for themselves. It's by a band called Bad City, which they're essentially Linkin Park knockoffs. So... Alright, so as you can tell, we're going to be talking about Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which is, to set the stage here, is an American animated television series by Marvel Animation in cooperation with Film Roman. Based on the Marvel comic superhero team, The Avengers, the show debuted on Disney XD in the fall of 2010, starting with 20-part micro-series. Ugh. Marvel Entertainment LLC and Disney XD announced that the new Marvel Universe programming block named Marvel Universe, which includes Season 2 of Avengers and the animated Ultimate Spider-Man series that began broadcasting in April 12. The series initially featured team based on the roster for the original Avengers, composed of Iron Man, Ant-Man, Hulk, Thor, and the Wasp. The team is later joined by Captain America, Black Panther, and Hawkeye. In terms of tone and style, the series is based primarily on the original stories by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. However, it also tends to utilize the material from all eras of the comics run and other sources, such as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't know. Alright, so as far as first impressions, I'm just going to get this right off the bat. This is probably going to be a sketch show again, because I've only seen the first 8.5. I'm like 20 minutes through episode 9 of this series, of season 1. I've just been so confused with this series. Just so confused. I don't know if it's because I don't like individually I like Iron Man, I like Hulk, I like Captain America. You know, I like all that stuff. I've never been an Ant-Man or Wasp fan. I've never known that much about them. So I'm not, you know, I don't know. So,
did you see Ultimate Avengers 1 and 2? Those animated movies?
Oh, hell no.
Huh. I thought they were pretty good.
No. I don't know. It's never like I said. Individually, I like Iron Man. I like Hulk. I like all the Marvel superheroes individually. but teaming up as the event, at least this is just for animation, mind you. This is not for the live action. This is just for animation. You know, throughout me watching cartoons, I've only liked it when the DC heroes team up. I don't know if it's I'm not that connected with the cartoon versions of the Avengers.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what about like the crossovers between '90s Spider-Man and the X-Men and like the Secret Wars arc?
Well, yeah, I mean that's a crossover, but this is the Avengers. This is Iron Man, Hulk, Ant-Man, Captain America, Thor, you know.
This is the Avengers people were hoping to see in that other Avengers cartoon.
Yeah.
That only had Ant-Man and Wasp and a bunch of characters that were not that iconic.
Right. Well, I mean, I didn't even. You're talking about
United
Avengers,
they stand.
Yeah, United we stand.
That show
That show sucks.
simply short.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just I don't know what it is about. And this is only for animation because as we've recorded this, about I don't know a week and a half ago.
So you prefer the Marvel characters as solo acts, basically.
Yeah, essentially, yes. Like I don't mind if War Machine or Wolverine or Storm shows up to help Spider-Man, or if Daredevil shows up to help Spider-Man, or if Captain America shows up to help Iron Man. You know, I don't mind like actual like individual.
So you'd like to visit crossover land, but you don't want to live.
Yeah, but. And this, like I said, this is only an animation because I saw the Avengers movie. The Avengers movie kicks ass. The Avengers movie is awesome.
Go see it.
Go see it right now. Stop this podcast. Go buy fucking tickets and watch that movie. And again, I think it's because I'm more ingrained at this point with DC animation. Like, I haven't watched Marvel animation. I mean, outside of a few weeks ago when we recorded the Wolverine and the X-Men was the first one outside of like Superhero Squad, but Superhero Squad show I count in its own universe because it's a kiddie kind of funny, you know, really super comedic cartoon. I don't take that as a serious storytelling cartoon. But I've been more invested in DC cartoons over the years versus Marvel. I mean, the X-92 cartoon and the Spider-Man 94 cartoon were great. And season 2 of the Iron Man cartoon was great. But, I don't know, I just didn't really care for...
Well, I completely get what you're saying. And I think most people, I don't want to throw that out there per se, but most people are of the opinion that, you know, the DC animated universe was just so much better in its approach to storytelling,
right,
than anything Marvel put out. But Marvel had a few moments where it shined.
Right, and I think the problem I'm having with this show, I don't even know if I'm going to finish watching through season 1. The problem I'm having is it's so fucking. I'm only, like I said, I'm midway through episode 9 at this point. As of this recording, I've only watched like through half of episode 9 of the first season. So my problem is it's so freaking confusing because what they've done on Netflix is, or what the producers have given the Netflix people is full episodes, but like 90% of the episode will be about like episode 4 was Captain America's episode, I think. 90% of that episode will be focused on Captain America and all that, and back in during the war, and then flash forward to today where they unfroze him and everything else. But then at the end they go to this other guy that's time traveling into a different time. I don't know. This cartoon for me is too fucking confusing. So you're just essentially take it from here. What are your initial impressions?
Well, I want to clarify for people listening who haven't watched the show before. The show was introduced as we said, in a set of 20 shorts that Disney XD played before they premiered the show. Right. With the story that teams them up. And this was just to introduce the characters and they did so with about 3 shorts focusing on the main casts.
Right.
They would all get 3 shorts each, and then there would be other shorts that would just touch on other parts of this universe. And
Right.
when they recompiled these into episodes, it felt a bit disjointed because you'd have the 3 stories about Iron Man or the 3 stories about Captain America,
Mm-hmm.
and then you would have a tacked-on story, which was another one of the shorts that had really very little relation to that. And that's probably a bad call on their part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost, honestly, other than a little bit of a backstory on, I don't want to go that far, because I feel like they did a good job introducing Hulk, Thor, and Captain America through those shorts, and I wouldn't want to lose that. I suppose they could have done it differently, but I really like how this show's first episode was with the breaking, with the breakout of the 3 super prisons,
Right.
and then they had to take down, what was his name, Graviton
Yep.
or something like that, who I'd never heard of before.
Yeah, I'd never heard of Graviton before either. It's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Now, what you don't like about it is one of the things that I really like about it, because as much as I'm not a comic book guy, I do want to get to know the Marvel Universe more, similarly to how Justice League introduced me to the wider spectrum of DC,
Mm-hmm.
and even more so, Brave and the Bold and now Young Justice are doing the same thing of introducing me to characters or reintroducing me to characters that I maybe have never heard of or have barely seen before in new and exciting ways that interest me, which
Right.
if I really tried, I could probably become really into reading comics, but from my perspective, from my friend who tells me that he buys 10 comics a week,
Yeah.
like, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
Forget it, man. I'll stick to cartoons. I prefer visual medium moving
Yeah.
way. Not to say that I don't appreciate a comic every now and then.
Right. Well, here's the thing, and we're kind of going off on a tangent here, but I've read numerous comics in my 32 years on this planet. I started getting into comics between the ages of 12 and 15 because of X-Men 92 and God, I almost said Star Wars 94. Holy shit. X-Men 92 and Spider-Man 94. I got into comics because of those cartoons, and I loved, and back then comics were anywhere from 75 cents to $2. I mean, I would go into like a Walden Books, and there would be X-Men comics for like $1.25, $1.50, something like that. And I would buy them, I would read them. I had a couple of Batman trade paperbacks. Didn't know what the hell was going on with them because Batman was too involved for my tiny brain at the time. But I enjoyed reading comics and stuff back then. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, I'll try to go back and I'll read a comic and I'm like, okay, I like this, I like where the story is going. Oh wait, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about here. But it's because of the 2003 Daredevil movie and Kevin Smith's involvement with that. I wanted to see what he did with Daredevil in his one issue, or I don't know if it's just one issue, but the Daredevil book he wrote. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
I generally know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of it, but I remember it.
Yeah, so. It's like Kevin Smith's Daredevil. It's oh god, I'll have to look it up later. But anyway, so I'm reading this book. I'm liking where it's going. And then you get to the end, and it turns out the main villain is fucking Mysterio. And I'm like, really? Fucking really? I read this entire book, and it turns out the villain is fucking Mysterio. Really?
Kevin Smith writes a comic where the villain is a filmmaker?
Oh, God. Yeah.
That's hitting a little close to home, I think.
Yeah, but it's like... I mean, even if it wasn't Kevin Smith writing that book, and it was still that same story, I would still have been what the fuck? Why? Because the way it was written, it, at least to me, the way I interpreted it as written was it was like this big bad, super huge villain, and it turns out to be Mysterio with his hollow cubes.
Oh my gosh.
And that's why I really can't get into comics. Like you said, you're more of a visual medium kind of person. I'm the same way. That's why I won't read comics, because they just don't resonate with me. And the only comics I read, and it's only if it's an interesting storyline. The only comics I actively seek out are the Transformers Timelines BotCon comics, because you're not going to get a 2008 Shattered Glass comic in cartoon form. You're just not going to get that, sadly. You know what I mean? So I mean,
Yeah.
those are really the only comics I like reading. I just not into comics, and I think with the Avengers, you have to have been into the comics from at least from my point of view, because I don't know. It was just like I said before,
I don't feel like it was terribly essential. I think you would enjoy it more if you were already familiar with these characters and were maybe seeing them animated for the first time. You would definitely have kind of that fanboy moment.
Right. Well, I mean, I had fanboy moments in the movie, but this animation, no.
Let's see. Actually, I got into comics around the same time you did, because I didn't really, other than like the odd Archie Ninja Turtles comic that I got from my grandmother, who knew I liked Ninja Turtles. I didn't really look into Marvel or DC until after I was way into '94 Spider-Man, and I started getting some Spider-Man comics, and that was confusing as all get out.
Well, I think I think for me, where I really get into it was like, honestly, it was something that caught my eye at a local Walden bookstore up in Massachusetts. It was like one of those what the fuck double take kind of moments where you're just kind of like walking by the comic racks and you see something and you're like, wait, what was that? Holy fuck, what was that? And it was Spider-Girl.
Oh, Spider-Girl.
Spider-Man's daughter. I'm like, wait a second, when the fuck did Spider-Man have time to knock Mary Jane up?
So you are talking about Mayday Parker. That Spider-Girl. Because there's more than one Spider-Girl.
I don't know. This is
That's the other thing that drives me crazy about comics. There's so many...
Yeah, there's so many iterations, so many this, so many that. So, all right.
It's a lot to take in, and personally, I don't know if I do this subliminally or just... It's probably just straight... I trust animation writers more than comic writers to tell me a story that I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah.
But this show, like I said, you would probably enjoy it more if you had more knowledge on the comics, but I enjoy being introduced to these characters, so that's quite all right by me. And I like that it's an Avengers series with the Avengers that I was interested in seeing, like Captain America. You don't see a lot of Captain America usually gets like a cameo in other shows, and we never got a solo series other than...
Yeah, he's never gotten a solo animated series. He's gotten guest spots, like you said. I think the one, and again, completely satirical. Well,
I don't know if those were just... I guess those were just shorts. There was that Marvel Shorts series.
Yeah, those are just shorts.
I had a segment for that.
I mean, he does kind of have a star, not a star. He does have like a top billed role in Superhero Squad show, but Superhero Squad show is highly satirical, and it's like, Captain America, and that is like, hup, come on soldiers, let's go, hup, Spotties, let's go, we gotta get this mission done, blah, blah, that kind of thing. So it's kind of really highly satirical, but I honestly don't know if you could have a Captain America cartoon, a show solely based
probably be
stories
to pull off. I'm impressed with what they were able to accomplish with storytelling with the movie.
Well,
And
right, but what? Oh, okay, and this is me coming from completely, left field and not even knowing too much about Captain America and his comics. Is the only villain I ever known him to go up against is Hydra and the Red Skull. There's only so many Hydra and Red Skull episodes of a cartoon series that you can do.
that's true.
I mean, look at Mask. The
Mhm.
only villain in that show is Venom. You know what I mean? And there's
That's like saying the only villain in Ninja Turtles is Shredder. I don't
well,
really see a problem with it as long as the stories are interesting.
okay, but what I'm saying is like every week, the Mask team went up against the Venom team, but it was still
No, I could see how it would be absolutely awful to
same.
have Captain America solo series when all he does is go up against Hydra and the Red Skull.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Would just get ridiculous with his plans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that's why I don't think it'll work.
It's shaving cream.
Yeah, yeah.
It's be like GI Joe, and we already had GI Joe. We didn't need Captain America to tell us GI Joe.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
I'm seeing where maybe for a short series it would work, but really I enjoy Captain America in proximity with other characters.
Yeah. Well, if Marvel was gonna do, and I know they've tried to do this because you mentioned earlier about the Avengers.
United They Stand.
No, not that cartoon series. The movies, the Ultimate Avengers.
Yeah.
The direct Marvel has attempted to do what DC does with the direct to DVD videos, the direct to DVD movies. I could see a direct to DVD Captain America movie.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can see
Captain America.
I can see that kind of thing, but I can't see Captain America in a weekly 26 episode cartoon series or even a 13 episode cartoon. I just don't think there's enough material there. Unless you have him time traveling or other dimensions or.
They always do the time traveling with Captain America. Come on.
Well, yeah, but as far as the voice cast for Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Let me talk about the show still.
Oh, do we? Well, no, I was going to talk about the voice cast first, then talk about the show.
Well, yeah, but usually what happens is we talk about the voice cast and then we don't really talk about the show other than the voice cast.
I will make sure we talk about the show. Let's just get the voice cast out of the way, damn it.
Okay, fine.
You've got Eric Looms as Iron Man / Tony Stark. You've got Rick D. Wasserman as Thor. Fred Tatasciore as Hulk. Brian Bloom as Captain America Steve Rogers. Wally Wingert as Ant and Giant Man. Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Wasp. James C. Mathis as Black Panther. Chris Cox as Hawkeye. And Phil Lamar as Jarvis. Yay! Best voice out of the entire show so far. You also have Vanessa Marshall as Black Widow. Alex Desert as Nick Fury. Gabriel Mann as Bruce. Holy shit, Augie from Summer Catch. Oh my god, I did not even recognize that voice. Maybe because he wasn't talking in his New England accent.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Adams as Kang. Nolan North as Scientist Supreme. Lance Henriksen as the Grim Reaper. Nolan North again as... Is that... Oh, it's Balder. Ooh,
Balder.
Weird. Carrie Walgreen as the Enchantress.
Well, that's interesting. The Enchantress is voiced by the gal who voiced Emma Frost.
Yep. You got Clancy Brown as Odin. I thought that was pretty interesting.
It's always interesting when Clancy Brown doesn't play the bad guy.
You got Mark Hamill as Claw. That's
really?
Pretty interesting, I would say.
Huh. Okay.
Overall, the voice cast is pretty damn good. You got Bumper Robinson as War Machine. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think he did a good job. I recently watched an episode when he showed up. This feels like a really I want to say Hollywood type cast, where they really dip into areas where people don't normally voice cartoons end up in roles, and I always appreciate that. And there's also some people that came from doing a lot more work in anime dubbing. And this, right. Just kind of random. Doc Samson is voiced by Cam Clark, Leonardo.
That's kind of.
I love that kind of stuff. I always love finding Cam Clark and things, and Townsend Coleman, Barry Gordon, and of course Rob Paulson's in so many things.
Yes, Rob Paulson.
But not this show. I don't think Rob's in this show.
No, I don't think he is.
Too bad. Maybe.
Overall, the voice cast is pretty well put together. You know, very well done type of stuff. So, do you have a favorite Avenger?
Do I have a favorite Avenger? I'm really liking Captain America in this. I'm liking Hulk. Hulk's pretty entertaining. You probably don't see much of his personality in those earlier episodes, but he gets to be pretty entertaining. And Iron Man. I don't really like Iron Man as the leader.
Yeah.
But I guess it works for this show.
Yeah. I like Captain America. As far as Hulk, the most comedic bits out of Hulk that I've seen in any cartoon is, again, Superhero Squad show. Why phone ring? And then, it's just so funny. You know, I'm still going to give this show, a watch through, even though I'm only 9 episodes in right now. I'm still going to finish the first season out on Netflix and see if I'm not to the point where this show has basically just made me say, fuck it, I'm done. I'm keeping an open mind about it because I do want to learn about these characters, but just from, as I said before, just from what I've seen so far, it just isn't really my thing. Now, as far as the plot of the show, I'll take season 1. You can take season 2. In season 1, what?
Wait, you don't even know that much about season 1, and season 2's just barely started.
So?
So
the paragraphs are short. Damn it.
Okay, whatever.
As the world's most dangerous supervillains break out of the vault, the cube, and the big house, and the raft, four of Earth's mightiest heroes assemble it as a crime-fighting alliance called the Avengers. The Avengers team includes Iron Man as team leader, Ant-Man, Thor, the Hulk, and the Wasp. Captain America, Black Panther, and Hawkeye have since joined the roster. When it comes to season finale, it was revealed that Thor's brother Loki was responsible for the breakouts and having Enchantress form the Masters of Evil. So, what I'm learning in the last, month or so is that the Avengers Rogues Gallery is essentially Loki and any other Asgardian that isn't on the side of good. That's really all their Rogues Gallery is. As a team.
Well, you're not going to get a solo Thor show. Actually, there was supposed to be a solo Thor show, but that didn't happen. Probably because they realized, we're using all of his significant villains.
Yeah, really.
It's going to feel like a rehash.
I mean, I know, and because we're talking about this cartoon, I'm also going to, make references to that awesome movie. I knew the movie was going to be, a Loki. That was the whole plot of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, was that Loki was going to come back and do all that. What he did in the movie, and what was revealed as for a future sequel to that movie was kind of awesome. So I would say that character is another, a main, Avengers team Rogues Gallery villain, that blue and purple guy. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, just look it up. You'll know. But I don't know. You talk about this show because I just don't. I just don't.
Okay. Well, they crammed a lot of stories into the first season. You have the Enchantress forming the Masters of Evil. You have the big breakout, which is caused by Loki. You have Kang show up. You have a little bit on the Kree, like the Kree Captain Marvel shows up, and I think 1 or 2 episodes, and then that's just kind of foreshadowing to what's to come in the second season.
Right.
So they really focus mostly on the Asgardians causing trouble,
Right.
and introduce a bunch of characters in the first season. Oh, right, and Ultron goes nutso for a bit too. So they tell a lot of stories, and I can understand how people would consider it a bit complicated.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy it. It gives adequate time to every story that it tells, which is good. And
Well, you only get 22 minutes, and I would say 17 of those 22 minutes are dedicated to a main story, at least through the. I don't know about the rest of season 1, but
the rest of the season doesn't even do that. At that point,
okay.
there are some that are like 2 episodes to tell one story, and then there's little things that happen throughout the season that lead up to other things, and then there's kind of side stories, because you have the story with Hawkeye and Black Widow's situation.
Yeah.
And you have the Masters of Evil, and you have Kang, and you have Ultron. So you basically go from story to story with these little plot threads continuing, but you have a couple of episodes focusing on each, or maybe even just one focusing on each, but you don't have, like, with the first 5 or 6 episodes where they would have 3 portions of it made of the shorts of the one main hero and then one other thing foreshadowing future events. So early in the series, you're building the team. There's actually an episode, some assembly required, or something like that, where they're disjointed, like you would see in the movie. When they first come together, they're like, they don't play well with others right away. They have to come together and realize that the threat is bigger than themselves in this case. And then they start working as a team and living as a team, quite frankly. They're living in that house that Tony Stark has. And you have the Hulk growing as a character, since his agreement with Banner is, I'll help these people if I'm in control and you're not.
Yeah.
So you don't see much of Banner other than Banner inside of Hulk's head thinking things through. So there's always the obligatory Hulk goes on a rampage story. Plus they probably wisely take a few episodes to bring in Captain America instead of throwing him in with all the rest in the big breakout episode. Right. Oh, right, and there's the Gamma, the Gamma World 3-parter, in which they have to enter this Gamma-infused area. And that's where one of my friend tells me he really likes this particular dynamic between Hulk and Hawkeye, because they got kind of a bromance going on. They have a mutual respect that goes very far. You know what I mean?
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's not sexual. It's just, they really like each other. They're real good pals. They're best of buds. But they're not that initially. They have to kind of come to that mutual respect, which makes for some entertaining moments. All right, and then there's the Black Panther. There's like one episode focusing on maintaining his society, what have you. So they give you a little bit of everything, basically, and they throw a lot at you. But if you stick with it and you see the plot threads coming together, you appreciate the universe-building aspects of the show as a whole. And by the second season, where everybody's pretty much established, well established even, and you're seeing them like take different parts of the team off on various missions, and you get to focus on other characters. Like in the second season, there's an episode that focuses on the Ant-Man technology being stolen, and it gets Hank Pym gets the heroes for hire, Luke Cage and Iron Fist, to track it down for him because he doesn't want to ask the Avengers, because he has a character arc in which he's not... He blames himself for the Ultron situation, and he doesn't... He has a very anti-violence policy, and it's established early on.
Yeah.
Which makes Ant-Man kind of a compelling character, where you have Wasp,
giant douche.
Yeah. But not as big of a douche as he is in the Ultimate movies, where he's a super douche. And you have Wasp, who's really up-ons with the whole bringing the team together and fighting the good fight, whereas Hank is just, I don't really want to do this. I wanted to help people, and I don't feel like you're really helping people so much as fighting.
Yeah.
So he gives up his Ant-Man powers to his successor, who's the guy who stole it, and he just thinks, you could be a hero. Why not? So it'll be interesting to see where that goes from there on. But he was totally just not into the whole hero thing. Which does make him a bit of a douche, actually. It's like, oh, the whole world's in trouble, and you're just, like, not into it. Okay, sure, why not? But Wasp is the complete opposite of that. Just like, go get him. Let's go beat him up. And she's an entertaining character. But I like the character dynamic that they built with this show. It's done a good job of highlighting the strengths of various characters as characters. I've often heard people say that they don't like the Hulk by himself. They prefer the Hulk to be in the middle of something. Well, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because the Hulk can be a compelling character by himself. But I do like the group dynamic when he's not just a raging monster all the time, where he's, he has a personality that comes out.
Well, and again, I think where that personality comes out is what just happened a few weeks ago in Marvel's The Avengers, the live-action movie, because, that Mark Ruffalo did a very decent job of portraying both roles. Because you see that the Hulk is Mark Ruffalo and just not a digital face with his voice. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, yes, the Hulk can be a compelling character, but again, the Hulk and Captain America, I'm actually surprised, and I don't know how. And we've already covered it in the season of superheroes. I still don't understand how the Hulk got his own cartoon series, because essentially that entire series was me Hulk smashed, me Hulk in love with Betty, and oh no, me have to run from her dad. I mean, that's essentially what that series was.
Yeah, it was essentially that.
And that's, Hulk in that aspect is very one-dimensional. But if you take it as a character development like what they did in the actual film, he is a very compelling character he can be a very compelling character on his own.
I agree.
Let's get to comparing some stuff here. As far as comparing it with stuff in its own Stuff compared to its own franchise. I believe I enjoyed the movie more than I've enjoyed watching this series. And this cartoon is 10 times better than United They Stand.
White.
Yes. Others in the same genre of superheroes. I don't know. I listed a bunch of the other ones that we always list, like X-92 and Evo and Spider-Man 94 and Spidey Unlimited, BTAS, STAS, JLU, but I don't know. I think I have more of an attachment to some of those shows versus the Avengers team up type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What about you? Any thoughts?
As far as Marvel cartoons go, for me, it's Spectacular Spider-Man, followed by either this or Wolverine and the X-Men. They're kind of tied for me right now, but Avengers has the benefit of getting a second season, so it's probably going to pull out in the end. But I don't take just one season as a knock against something by any means, because Spectacular Spider-Man only got its 26 episodes. So, as long as I really enjoy the story, it doesn't matter if it was 26 or 52. Well, it does matter, but I'm not going to hold it against a show by any means.
Right.
So that's kind of about where it is. As far as superhero team-up shows go, not as good as Young Justice.
No.
Yeah, so...
And it's not as good as Justice League either.
No, not as good as Justice League. It's...
And again, I think it's because... I think the reason why I say that is because of the fact that Marvel has always been, hey, let's establish this character, establish this character, establish... They've focused on establishing multiple individual characters. Yes, there are teams like X-Men and X-Force and Excalibur and all that stuff, but Spider-Man, Daredevil, Hulk, Punisher, Ghost Rider, all of those are individual. Iron Man, Silver Surfer, the Fantastic Four is essentially a group, but all of those individual heroes, that's what Marvel focuses on, is doing the individuals, whereas DC focuses on individuals and the individuals coming together to form the Justice League. So,
and they basically just went Batman, Superman, all right, let's skip to Justice League.
Well, they did do Batman Beyond, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah.
Right, but I mean...
Right, yeah.
As far as the story goes, they just threw the other characters basically in there for the first time.
Well, because... again, I mean, it's easy to do a Wonder Woman-centric episode, but a Wonder Woman-centric cartoon series, I mean, I know, of course, there's the Linda Carter television series that happened, but
right.
I don't know. It's the same thing with the Marvel. It's the same thing with the Marvel heroes, like with Captain America and Hulk. I don't know if Wonder Woman or Flash or those type of characters, I don't know if they can hold their own 13, 26, 52 episode cartoon series.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to run out of story.
Where I'm not understanding what your gripe is with the Marvel heroes coming together, because you say they're establishing all these characters individually,
right,
but they're kind of better as the sum of their parts, in my opinion, other than Spider-Man, who's been traditionally solo in animation.
Well, what I'm saying is,
and the X-Men, who, he is already a group.
Right. What I'm getting at here is that, for me, DC does it better and has it more ingrained with me as far as their team-ups. Like, they established Batman and Superman, they went to Justice League, and then they within the 5 seasons of 5 years of Justice League, they established all 7 of those members plus all the other ones. Whereas this, okay, we've had Iron Man cartoons before, we've had Hulk cartoons before, Captain America has made guest appearances in multiple shows, and, Thor has been in multiple shows, and I don't know. I just don't have the same connection to the Marvel team up than I do the DC team up. I just don't. No.
That's totally fair.
Yep. As far as a rating 0 to 4, I would give it probably a 2. I don't mean that to be bad. That might change.
I hope it will change. I hope you actually like it. Because I think you'll like it if you give it a few more episodes.
Well, right. Well, I fully plan on finishing watching it, but a 2 for the listing is, show is worth a watch if you come across it. I don't know just yet, and I'm sure my opinion will increase, but again, I think it's because I don't have a connection to any of these characters really that well. I'm more of a, hey, what's DC gonna do with George Newbern or Kevin Conroy or Tim Daly, or, you know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Gotcha.
What about you? What do you rate it?
I wouldn't recommend the DVDs because they're only singles, and we may never get a collection. It's on Netflix. I highly recommend watching it on Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 3 with a tentative 4. A 3 for right now because you can DVR the second season and watch it on Disney XD if you have it. Or if you don't have it, you can actually watch it on one of Marvel's websites or on the Disney XD website after it airs.
Right.
So you have a way to catch it. So I would recommend watching it that way as it airs. But because they're about to push it off, well, not necessarily anytime soon, but they're essentially axing this show for another Avengers series. If you really start enjoying this series, then I would probably recommend collecting it because it may pull a vanishing act like Spectacular Spider-Man did.
So, wait a second. Why are they axing this now?
In order to make a Avengers cartoon that's both more in line with the movie universe and also in the same universe as Ultimate Spider-Man.
Okay, so then why did they waste, and this isn't a market, this isn't me trying to make a bad comment about this specific show. Why did they waste all this money, promotion,
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense the way they went about this show. Obviously, they made this show because they wanted to make a big push for the Avengers movie, which they have essentially been, baiting us for since...
4 years, 2008.
Yeah. Since what? Since Iron Man? The first Iron Man? Yeah. So they've been baiting us for that since Iron Man. So they're like, well, we have to have a cartoon. So they bring out the cartoon, the first season, and Disney XD is really bad at airing new shows, like new cartoons, because they keep moving around the premiere slot. For a while, this show was premiering on Sundays at around noon and not getting encores, which is just intolerable crap.
Yeah.
I don't understand Disney's problem with utilizing Marvel, but they're just... I wish Disney didn't buy Marvel. It's just a mess. It's very disappointing. And the treatment of this show is just ridiculous because they have the 26 episodes of the first season, and they finally have all of those on DVD, and it's on Netflix, because on the Marvel side of things, Marvel's trying to get the job done. But Disney XD is just doing a lousy job. They don't have reruns of this show on weekdays right now. They don't have additional reruns besides the encore, and the movie is in theaters. Yep. They waited on the second season, even though it was already done quite a while ago, until right before the movie came out, and when they launched the Marvel Universe block. That's fine planning and all, but if you're not going to properly utilize it, then why even wait? It's like the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. I can't stand this crap. It makes Cartoon Network look comparable.
Wow,
it's ridiculous. I mean, why not have a marathon of this show this weekend or last weekend or next weekend, but they're not doing any of that. And the movie is making how much money by now?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Other channels are playing, like FX is playing Iron Man and Iron Man 2 and other superhero movies related to that. It's baffling how poorly this is being executed. It's baffling.
Yes.
So yeah, watch this show. I really think people will enjoy it. Maybe not the first couple of episodes because of how they're formatted, but the stories that those tell are good. Like the introduction to Captain America is really good. The introduction to the Hulk is really good. I just wish they had handled it a little better.
Yep. There is kind of getting into the quote-unquote when and where. There is a comic book, the Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes comic book series written by Christopher Yost and artwork by Scott Weinger and Patrick Scherberger was published to accompany the series. It was a 4-issue limited series. An ongoing comic book series titled The Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes Adventures will debut in April 2012. Now see, if they're going to eventually axe this show, why are they doing another comic series for it? Oh, God.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. They're putting so much into it and just no follow-through.
Yeah.
Really.
And as you said, as far as DVD release, at least in the U.S., we've got 4 volumes with 7, 6, 6, and 7 episodes on each, which is just so stupid. In Canada, they have limited edition Season 1, Part 1, Season 1, Part 2, complete first season on Blu-ray for all 26. Yeah.
I saw the box art for that. That's ridiculous. They have, like, the title in 3 different languages on the front cover, and it looks awful.
That's Canada for you.
Yeah, that's Canada for you.
They have to, speak Canadian, speak French Canadian, and speak American. So, yeah.
Speak America.
So we're gonna go. Shut up. We're gonna go to a break, and we'll come back to close the show.
Hey Chuck. Hey, what's up, Ryan? You know how we talked about doing a podcast? Well, I have some ideas run past you.
Yeah, what do you got?
I thought we should base it on comics.
Well, there's thousands of podcasts about comics. You kind of want to narrow it down a bit.
Well, what about Star Wars?
Still, there's a ton of those out there. What else you got?
We could always do G.I. Joe comics.
There's still a ton of those out there.
What about the 80s franchises?
There's already a few of those as well.
Then let's forget about comics. Let's focus on toys and action figures.
Dude, then we're back to thousands of podcasts.
Well, is anyone covering all those things I mentioned in one podcast?
No one would be crazy enough to do that.
Then that's what we'll do.
Are you serious?
Yep. Come and listen to Star Joe's podcast. You can find us at starjoes.com or find us on iTunes.
Yeah, we cover comics, TV shows, and movies based on Star Wars, G.I. Joe, and all your 80s favorite franchises.
And don't forget about the toys.
How can we forget about the toys? We also do toy reviews to help you decide what to add to your collection.
So come listen to Star Joe's, where we hold nothing back, provide quality entertainment, and remember, the Force will be with you.
Because knowing us is half the battle.
Yo, Joe!
Welcome to my throne room, Future Tales. The Beast Unleashed podcast is over, not gone. You can hear more of this great podcast, discussing all the episodes of Beast Wars and Beast Machines on GeekCastRadio.com. We include voice actor and writer interviews with stellar hosting by Steve, Mike, and Michael. Head on over to iTunes or the net, or else I will send you my vehicles to extract your spark and destroy you. Yes.
Hey, I'm Gary.
I'm Mike.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm Justin.
Join the 4 of us every week on the internet's #1 and longest-running G.I. Joe podcast, What's on Joe Mind?
It's Joe news, reviews, and interviews like you've never heard them before, delivered right to your MP3 player.
Our guests include Jason Marsden, Kevin Michael Richardson, and Matt Yang King from G.I. Joe Renegades, Larry Hama, Robert Atkins, and John Barber from IDW Publishing, and many more from around the online Joe community.
Yeah, it's guys talking about Joe. Think of it as Joe Talk meets Sports Talk. And we make fun of Chuck.
Right, and we Hey, again?
Come on, Chuck. We're just kidding, kinda.
Sometimes Chuck makes fun of himself.
Right, and okay, seriously, this is just getting ridiculous now.
It's What's on Joe Mind every week on the Geekcast Radio Network, InsidePulse.com, Stitcher Smart Radio, and iTunes. Download and listen today.
I suppose I still can't say something about Transformers, can I?
Good.
No.
What about sports?
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's all right.
You can now hear the Geekcast Radio Network while on the go with Stitcher Smart Radio. Stitcher is a free-use and talk mobile app available for your smartphone. And when you download Stitcher to hear Geekcast Radio, you'll have a chance to win money. Downloading is quick and easy. Just find Stitcher in the App Store. During registration, hit the promo code box and enter Geekcast Radio, all one word, to get automatically entered to win $100. The latest episodes of the shows will be waiting for you in your favorites. You'll get access to lots of other amazing shows too. Always available to you on demand, no syncing. It's Stitcher Smart Radio. Don't forget to enter promo code Geekcast Radio when you register.
Hey guys, JT from Saskatoon here. I'm calling in with my thoughts on Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I'm going to say first off, I love this cartoon. This cartoon is so awesome. I mean, it mixes everything from the comic history to the Ultimate Universe to a bunch of the movie universe. And that's the best. It takes all these separate ingredients and creates just a decidedly awesome cartoon series. I mean, the guy that voices Tony Stark does his best to do an imitation of Robert Downey Jr., which is awesome, because as Kevin Conroy is the Batman, Robert Downey Jr. is the Iron Man now. The other thing I love about the show is that there are all sorts of nods to Marvel comic books history, like the fact that Captain America is found by the Avengers in the 4th episode, which is also where they found him in the original comic book series back in the day in issue number 4 of the Avengers. I mean, there's all these nods to Marvel history. You get all sorts of character cameos, even in passing, like the first episode with all the snippets of all the different Marvel supervillains that have escaped from the 4 prisons. You get all sorts of awesome voice acting. You got Jeffrey Combs as the Lear, we all know as Ratchet from Transformers Prime and the Question from Justice League Unlimited. We get Fred Tassisiore, I think I said his name right, who's done the Hulk voice for the last couple of years in various animation projects. The other thing, I just love the animation style in this. Now, other animation aficionados might argue this, but the animation style is very much what's known in some circles as a Timitator. It is very much inspired by the Bruce Timm style of art that was shown in Justice League and much of the other DCAU projects, and I love it. Some of the characters are slightly off. Like Captain America kind of has a concave face, but I'm going to let that go. The writing, like I said, the writing is awesome. Like they spend every episode adds a little something to the overall arc of the season, the first season, which is, who let loose who opened the 4 superhuman prisons, and very much by the end of the first season, you find out that Loki was pretty much behind everything, which is how the Avengers were brought together in the comic books in the first place. Like Loki was just screwing with Thor, and he accidentally brought about the Avengers, which is pretty much what happens in the cartoon. I mean, they set up so many things in the show. I mean, there's references to mutants. There's the AIM-Hydra War, the Cosmic Cube. Leading into the second season, we're going to be looking at the Kree Skrull War, Secret Invasion, which was a much more modern series, but basically, look up the wikis on both of those. Kree Skrull War, Secret Invasion, you won't be sorry. Overall, this is probably, like I said, this is probably my absolute favorite Marvel cartoon after The Spectacular Spider-Man. Just because I'm a huge Spider-Man freak and I love that show. So, I love this series. I hope you guys love it too. Really wish I could have been there for this one. This is JT from Saskatoon, signing off.
So we are back, and thank you, JT, for that positive look at Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And yeah, I'm the only one here that's going to get your AA joke, your animation aficionados joke. It's another podcast that he and I have both guested on.
Yeah.
Why does he
JT, high five, Spectacular Spider-Man.
Why does he like Spectacular Spider-Man? Oh
Because
my
it is the
god.
best Spider-Man series ever. This is not disputed.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not.
Yes.
He brought up a lot of good points, which I may or may not have glossed over. It's really great, and I feel like similarly to how Justice League Unlimited just hits you with so many things, and
Right.
Batman the Brave and the Bold likewise hits you with so many things, gives you a nice expansive universe, little nods to comics, little nods to movies, other shows. I love that kind of
the
stuff.
only thing Brave and the Bold hit me over the head with was fucking Oswald.
Right. And we have gone on record that you do not find the appreciation of Brave and the Bold. Anyway, I find
the appreciation in the Batmite from Brave and the Bold. I like Batmite.
Who doesn't like Batmite? It's always always amusing. And that was such a fitting way to end that show.
Mm-hmm.
Batmite being like, this isn't cool anymore. I'm gonna fix it up.
Cancel it. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh God! Can you imagine a Marvel DC crossover? Batmite comes in at the end of Avengers. It's like, this show really sucks. I'm canceling it.
Well, that's not going to happen, but the show's going to get canceled anyway. Yeah, with nods to all the other Marvel characters, and there's so much more to come in Season 2 from the looks of it. I mean, they just introduced Luke Cage and Iron Fist, which are way, way, way a billion times better than their interpretations in not Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Fail, whatever. I can't come up with an insult good enough yet, but I will. I will, because I'm bitter. And only bitter people come up with the best insults. Isn't that right, Mike?
That's right.
That's right. So, yeah, so you got those guys. So many more characters. Spider-Man's going to show up. Wolverine's going to show up. Probably other X-Men. They've already hinted to others. The Fantastic Four just showed up. Super exciting if you love the Marvel Universe. This show is just going to go everywhere. I don't think Deadpool's going to show up, and that makes me sad. But that would have been awesome. I don't really agree with the characters looking that Bruce Timm-esque. I mean, maybe in like the shape of the bodies, but that's
I think that's what he was meaning.
That's whatever that is. But like the faces, not even a little bit. The
Hey,
faces...
at least none of them have a dent in their face.
At least none of them have a dent in their face.
Superman Doomsday.
Yeah. Actually, if I was going to make a comparison to animation styles, I would say this looks most like 2003 Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you for joining us here on ToonCast Beyond. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. You can comment on each and every episode post. Send us email, feedback@geekcastradio.com. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter. The show name there is ToonCast Beyond. The official Twitter is @GeekCastRadio. Mine is TF2 and Mike. What is your Twitter?
Sketch 1984.
Become a fan on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekCastRadioNetwork. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. If you have your own microphone or USB headset, you can go to the website, click on the Send Voicemail Now on the right-hand side of the page, and you can send it to us directly. We hope you enjoyed this episode of ToonCast Beyond and wish you'll join us next time when we will be continuing on in the season of superheroes with... Oh, God, this is going to kill me. Fantastic Four, World's Greatest Heroes. And JT will be joining me for that. I think we'll probably end up just, making a suicide pact with each other and just end up killing each other after that show. Oh, my God. Show.
Boy, it's hard to get over the art style of that one.
Yeah. For now, I am TF2 and Mike with
Sketch 1984.
Well, catch you next time.
Avengers, assemble!